because, you know, I discovered what exactly the piano can do. Before then I had been maybe playing smaller pieces and not really realising the full potentials.
And what about the future? What does that hold, you hope, Barry?
Well, go from strength to strength, I suppose, and build up concerts.
Well, we wish you every success in that, and I know you want to play with other people as well, don't you?
Yes, certainly.
Duettist, you'll be then as well. Well, actually, you're going to play for us now, which is smashing, and while you settle yourself at the piano, let me tell those of you watching that Barry's going to play Chopin's Study in A-flat, Opus 10, number 10.
Very nice, and congratulations from me too, Barry. Well, we stay with the performing arts now, and someone most recently known for her raucous and vulgar manner in that horrific holiday hideaway, Fawlty Towers. However, you'll be glad to hear, perhaps, that we've left Sybil far, far behind and brought a much better half, Prunella Scales. Prunella, welcome. I'd like to start where Judith and Barry left off, because you too are in the business of giving a helping hand to aspiring young performers as a member of the Arts Council's Theatre Performance Working Group.
Well done.
Yes? Do you find it important to kind of involve yourself in acting beyond your own career?
Well, yes, I do think it's important, you know, to be interested in the profession as a whole. I mean, that working group at the Arts Council and just sits there, and they've got a certain amount of money to give away for actors to do further training while they're working. Voice training or learning to tap dance, or some people do circus performing, or some extra skill that an actor might want or need to learn. And so there's a sort of committee to decide who gets the money.
You're being terribly modest here. You're being terribly modest. I know for a fact that you've also been involved with equity, and this shows, I think, your selflessness in the trade. However, let's move on from that. I don't wish to embarrass you at all. Let's talk about comedians just for a little while. Since Marriage Lines in the mid-60s, has the role of the comedian in Britain, anyway, changed at all?
Well, I used to say rather glibly that in British comedy you weren't allowed to be funny if you were a woman, unless you were postmenopausal or so eccentric that you weren't a sexual threat, you see. But I think this is, the same thing is not true, for instance, of American comedy, where you get a lot of people who are extremely attractive and intelligent and very funny. I mean, the sort of parts that Shirley MacLaine plays and Barbra Streisand. Or in French comedy, where you get very witty, clever, pretty ladies being extremely funny in French farce. And in English comedy, the same thing didn't seem to be true, really. But I think things are changing.
Yes, I think we've come a long way from Lucille Ball when we do look at Shirley MacLaine or Barbra Streisand.
Yes, I think we have, and in British comedy, for instance, the parts that Felicity Kendall plays, she's enchantingly pretty and very clever, but funny with it. And I think, well, perhaps we are eventually sort of throwing off the dead weight of you know, the Victorian age, where men were frightened of women, really frightened of women, and kept them apart. And therefore, you know, you can't laugh at something you're frightened of, or you need to laugh at something you're frightened of, and so you need to distance it, you know.
So this changing role for the better, in fact, reflects
I hope so.
a healthier attitude within society itself, perhaps.
It may well be so, yeah.
Let's talk about your role as a woman with a man, namely your husband and actor, Timothy West. You're both very, very busy career people. How do you manage to sustain a relationship as long as you have, which is, what, 14, 15 years or so?